Good evening and salutations, my YNR fans. This episode really perplexed me because I don't understand how, in some ways or whatever, how could this show be so interesting and yet so boring at the same time? I don't get it. Um, Now let's start off with the whole Adam, Sally, and Victoria and Victor. So, Vic- Victor, sits down with Victoria. And Victoria's not there just wondering, you know, she felt that Victor was going to have a different reaction with the whole, hiring Sally. And so she's not there questioning, why are you not upset about that? That you would be like more like furious about it, like what's going on? What is your game? Um, I think Victor was not there asking some questions about, the business or whatever. It's weird because whenever they start to talk about the business side of like whatever they're doing, it just gets kind of boring. But at some point, they all wind up meeting up: Adam, Sally, Victor, and Victoria. And then when Victoria leaves, Sally gets sent away for a little bit, and Victor asks, Adam, like, yo, listen, just I know, business or whatever, but just make sure that you're keeping an eye on Ashland. Report back to me, keep me in the loop in case he does, anything that's out the ordinary. So Adam agrees once again, and after we'll just sit there and call it mattress tag between Sally and Adam. Adam is not there questioning, well, at first he tells Sally, what they were talking about when Sally got sent away. And Adam was like, I'm not too sure if I really want to do this. I don't know if I want to sit there and spy on Ashlyn. He feels that, and this is what Sally said, that he feels undermined. That he only has the position that he has, that he can keep the job that he has as long as he keeps playing by Victor's game. He feels that he's been working his ass off and he's been, he earned that spot, and he feels like, well, again, that by doing his bidding, that he's not really is making him look like he's not really earning his position. He's just kind of like, doing favors for his father. So, Sally was just like, listen, at the end of the day, just kind of protect yourself. But that didn't really seem like it was much advice. Like, I mean, she was there to kind of like, be, I don't know, a sounding board or whatever, but didn't really give him advice as far as like, oh, you should do it or you should not do it or whatever. Kind of seems like he doesn't really have a choice at this point. Um, Especially saying that one of the conditions of this whole merger thing was to keep Adam on board. Um, Now let's talk about Ashlyn and Nate. So yeah, Ashlyn. So they meet up for coffee, whatever, and the whole point of this is for Ashlyn to sit there and try to get Nate to, join, well, his firm or whatever, his job. Newman Media. I'm still getting used to the names. He wants to sit there and get him to join Newman Media. He already feels that Nate is kind of frustrated by, the bureaucracy and the paperwork and all sorts of stuff like that, taking time and attention away from what really matters is like, helping the patients and stuff. And so, Ashland Smith, you're trying to get him to sell, get him to join the company. And, Nate's like, yeah, that seems really good. Yeah, I can probably help a lot of people, especially on a more global scale. But, then I'll be sitting there leaving my job. And, he's not really too sure, which is, I mean, it's understandable. But, after their meeting, because, Victoria comes in there and Victoria's like, listen, at the end of the day, you got to do what's best for you. And Ashton's like, you're kind of supposed to be my side. But Victoria reminds him that, yeah, I know he's your friend, but he's also my friend as well, and I want him to do what makes him happy. So as I was sitting there writing it down, I was like, good cop, bad cop sort of thing. But um, after Nate left and he went to talk to, I knew I should have looked up her name. I guess his girlfriend or his wife. Pretty much he was like, "Are you sure you want to actually do this? Are you sure you want to actually work for them?" Like, yo, listen, it's one thing being friends with them, but working for them, you may see a side of them that you may not be comfortable with. And she also said something about the fact that getting caught in their crosshairs or whatever, like they're very competitive and stuff like that. And also, Victoria has not been known for being soft with people. So she's just like, yo, listen, just think about this because this is the second time you're making like a life altering decision. So just make sure that you really like sleep on this whole thing. The sad part is that Ashlyn comes across as so much of a, I don't want to sit there and say a scumbag, but like just not a good person. That yeah, he was not there telling Nate that yo, if you come work for us, you can sit there and help people on more of a global scale, and you don't have to be tied down by that red tape and stuff like that, which sounds really great. But at the end of the day, it's like I feel that Ashlyn is going to be using Nate towards something bad. I was trying to find like a fancier word, but I'm just like, no, it's just going to be something bad. So Amanda's sitting there talking to Phyllis, and Phyllis was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna sit there and stay in General City. This is where my people are. This is my home." And Amanda's like, "Are you sure this is the only reason?" And, pointed towards Jack or whatever. And you know, Phyllis was like, "Listen, yeah, we're just gonna be friends." And also feels that she kind of screwed up enough times with Jack to kind of like, you know what, I'm not good at as far as being a good girlfriend, pretty much to him. So it's just better for us to be friends and just kind of keep it like that. And after reading the comments, last name is Lane, I think. I know there's a lot of people sitting there telling me stuff. So I don't want to sit there and give credit to the wrong person or whatever. But after reading the comments and finding out that Phyllis has cheated on this man a couple of times, just really kind of did him dirty. I'm like, you know what? That's actually a really good idea. And now I'm sitting there thinking about this. I'm just like, because you can just tell that Jack still, is holding a candle or still wants to sit there and be with Phyllis. I'm just like, why? After all the stuff that I heard what Phyllis did to him, I'm just like, why? Why would you? But honestly, tell you the truth, seeing his character, he seemed like he's too nice for his own good. Now, at some point, they do start talking, and he lets her know about the Texas or whatever. He's like, yeah, I'm just not gonna sit there and be bothered. I'm just not gonna really deal with it. And Phyllis is like, why? Don't you want to sit there? Aren't you curious to sit there and find out who it is? He's like, no, I'm not. I'm not dealing with that stuff. And I'm like, that's a great idea. You should totally not deal with that. You get a text message from a number that you don't know. Yeah, no, you should definitely just let that whole thing go. And I saw the previews, and you got Jack and Phyllis Smith. They're talking to some woman about the Texas and stuff like that, and they mentioned the word chemo. I don't know what that's about. I don't really understand why Phyllis is so interested, and trying to figure out who the person is that's texting him. I mean, if he doesn't care, and to be honest, I don't understand. Like, I would feel that Phyllis would be like, "Yo, do you know that number?" And they're telling you to go to LA. Don't. Just don't. Like, why didn't she not sit there and say that first? And she seems like she's, you know what, I'm questioning the logic of soap opera, and that's clearly on me. Okay, so I am so gonna sit there and butcher Amanda's sister's name. I think her name is starts with an O, it's like Omnia or something like that. Anyway, Amanda's sitting there telling her sister about working with Lily and Billy and stuff like that. How much of a great opportunity it's going to be. And at first, she's like, yeah, we kind of just like started our own thing, right? Like, and you're isn't there thinking about like joining them, but Amanda's like, yeah, they're gonna have a place for you, and you can either do this or you could sit there and work on the maid just like before, and we could just make it work. Like they're great people, whatever. So long story short, um, they go to Billy and Billy and Lily's place. And by the way, Billy did sit there and say he's considering doing a podcast, not anonymously, just under himself. Like he feels like it's going to be a good idea, and he's also still like not sleeping. I don't understand why is that a thing. I guess it is a thing. To be fair, there's a lot of people that do have problems sleeping, and I've never once actually had any sort of creative ideas. Um, just not sleeping or anything like that. So I don't really understand where is all this energy coming from. But Lily just wants to make sure that listen, that's cool. You doing your podcast and everything like that. Just make sure that you're still handling um what you're handling as far as the office goes. But Billy's like, listen, it's gonna be an hour worth of my time. And I'm gonna have a lot more energy afterwards, which is amazing. I gotta sit there and say, just on a side note, where people um can literally sit there and do podcasts for like hours and stuff like that. Just and I know I'm kind of veering off course for a minute, but there's a guy called Michael Rosenbaum. Rosenbaum, I think. Rosenbaum, the guy who did Lex Luthor, and he was talking about how he only does a podcast for an hour because anything more than that, it's just he feels like he's just not interesting enough to go more than an hour. And I'm sitting there thinking like an hour. Listen, if I do like 30 minutes, that's by pure accident. Anyway, long story short, they all get together. Amanda, her sister, Billy, and Lily, and they decide they want to sit there and join a team. And Billy and Lily are kind of ecstatic, and then they start talking about business. And then at that point, I just kind of was like, yeah, okay. And this is what I mean. Um, I feel like they do that kind of often. They do that pretty often. Like, before Sally and Adam got to, well, before the whole, playing mattress tag and meeting up with Victor and Victoria, they was there talking about business and stuff like that. And I mean, granted, they never get into specifics, like as far as like what their content is and stuff like that. But they're having this business meeting, and I just can't help but be like, you know, I got out of work, got out of work, and it was amazing because I had to sit there and think about, business and work. And I'm watching a show with two characters that are talking about business. But I get it. No, actually, I don't. I feel like maybe this works for some people. Maybe it does. Maybe it kind of works for some people, and it kind of shows you more of a realistic take on what's going on. And maybe I'm just noticing more on this show because it's new and like with maybe GH and Days. Whenever you talk about business and whatever, I'm just kind of so enthralled or just so used to the show that it just kind of just goes in my head. So maybe it's just something that I just need to get used to, and eventually it will just kind of go over my head. Because I'm gonna be honest, this episode wasn't super great, but I took so damn long, and I'm so proud of myself for remembering maybe 99% of these characters' names. 98%, 98% of these characters' names because I could not remember Nate's girlfriend or Amanda's sister, but eventually I will get to 100%. It will happen. I'm so damn proud of myself today, too. So, towards the end of the episode, Victor's not there talking to some guy. I could have swore his name was Baldwin or something. Um, I do have to ask another question, though, also. I mean, not a question, just a comment. So, Victor's not there talking to the guy who's not there looking into Ashland's past and the clinic and everything like that. And long story short, this guy said he was talking to a doctor, and he has some information as far as the clinic is concerned, as far as his treatment is concerned, and he's like, "Listen, this guy's willing to talk for a price." And Victor's like, "All right, so what's the problem?" The guy's like, "So you pretty much give me the green light to sit there and pay this guy like money." And Victor's like, "Pay him whatever the hell you want. I just want to find out the information." I'm like, "Damn." Well, you I was like, you clearly hasn't like. I was like, I'm sitting there thinking, I was like, well, this guy clearly hasn't like that since he um gave his daughter and new husband a town, well, damn near a mansion in Tuscany. So yeah, I guess the plot thickens. One of the things that I do find kind of, maybe it was just today's episode. Um, One of the things I did find kind of interesting is that people were sitting there complaining on B&B that they don't really do fashion anymore, just that and the third. And watching this show this week, there have been some people that have definitely been up in their game as far as the fashion is concerned. I mean, it's weird for me to sit there and talk about this, sort of, but I do like good fashion. I do like good sense of clothes and stuff like that. Um, when I'm out and about and not just like doing this or whatever. There's times I can sit there and kind of dress myself up, but make myself look a little bit dapper. But my point is, um, I always just kind of find that funny. People are sitting there complaining, and I'm sitting there watching this show. I'm like, Adam actually has some like decent looks and stuff like that. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I mean I'm not like super into fashion, so I don't know like what is hot and what is not. But I don't know. I am so not redoing this. I know at this point I'm kind of just like veering off course, but I think I'm kind of done. I'll just double check my notes. I'm not gonna lie, I think that's about it. So this question kind of goes to the people who also watch Days of Our Lives, or at least know or have watched Days of Our Lives before. But I know there's a character. I think his name is Leo Starks, and now he's on this show. I know he's playing a different character, but that is the same guy, right? Like that is the same guy that is on Days because I know he's supposed to be coming back to Days for some odd reason. Um, so I'm just wondering, is that the same actor? I gotta sit there and look into that. I so wish this was wine. I gotta actually start getting back into that. I don't know if that's a good idea because I'm also doing 4 reviews, and if I just sit there and start drinking wine throughout most of them, the last one is I'm probably gonna want to be hammered, and also I don't know how the review is gonna come out, so I've been kind of not doing the whole wine thing, um, for those reasons. But before I go, first of all, I want to sit there and say thank you for watching. Um, Also, I just want to thank everyone for watching in general because I know like these reviews, I feel a couple of things about it. One, I'm still not used to this show, and so I felt like the reviews have been kind of rocky a little bit because of my misinformation or my lack of information. But at the same time, I've also been having a lot of fun with these reviews, partly because it's new and it's less pressure. Because I don't really, what I'm saying? I still get to play kind of a novice a little bit, but also it's new. It's a new show. It's new characters. Um, so that's very interesting to me. And so, in a lot of ways, I feel like I have a lot of fun doing these reviews. Not to say I don't have fun doing GH obviously has my show. Days, I'm loving it. But like even with Bold and the Beautiful and like this show, it's fun because it's new, and also because it's just because I'm learning stuff as I go. It just makes it just that much more interesting. Um, and just thank everyone for just the patience and stuff like that, because I'm still getting to know this show and these characters and stuff like that, and people have just been so amazing. I was gonna sit there and curse, but people have just been so amazing as far as just like giving me information and clues and stuff like that, and just stuff that I don't know, which always helps out my reviews. And this review is actually becoming longer than my GH review. So, but sometimes I just like to sit there and just get real. Um, anyway, with that being said, I'm gonna go. I want to thank everyone for watching. Be safe. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. Sorry this came out so late. Some stuff started happening throughout the day. I kind of had to sit there and take care of. And also this episode kind of dragged a little bit. Like my goodness, but we're gonna definitely have to sit there and step it up because next week it's gonna definitely have to sit there and be at 100 at my best because 4 reviews. But like I always sit there and say to some of the customers that I will sit there and tell them that I do like soap opera reviews and always kind of turn their heads because I'm a guy and blah blah blah. If I didn't love what I did or what I do, then this would just be a crap show. But I really love just doing this stuff, and I just love that everyone actually watches like my reviews because that is amazing. It's just a humbling experience every day, just even looking at the numbers and the comments and stuff like that. And I am just getting way off course. So yes, with that being said, I'm gonna go. I want to thank you all for watching. Be safe. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below, and I will see you in the next video.